The Ravens hire Todd Monken, the former University of Georgia offensive coordinator. Lots to unravel here, but they hired the two-time national championship offensive coordinator from Georgia, who has a deep history, in the NFL and college. He coached the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2016, 2017. He was an O coordinator and wide receivers coach. He was offensive coordinator in 2018 with the Buccaneers, the Cleveland Browns O coordinator in 2019, Jacksonville wide receivers coach in 2007, 2002, 2010. But he also has some history in college, dating back to, I like to notably say the air raid when he was at Oklahoma State, where they had a huge arsenal passing attack. There are some pluses with Todd. He increased the average pass per game in Georgia over the time he was there by 13. The average yards per rush by 6%. So you can see, just a offense that is, how can I say, offense that focuses heavily on passing the ball and creating opportunities. So here's the thing. I don't like this, and this is why I'm skeptical. I don't like this. Just because you have a running quarterback doesn't mean you have to make him run. He can be a threat sometimes, but you don't have to make him run, especially with Lamar Jackson and his passing ability. I do like the fact that if a team focuses on the run, the run opens up the pass. So I say that because he is kind of a guy who's kind of like in the middle. He's a middle road guy. He doesn't mind opening up, passing the ball. But at the same time, he wants to keep the offense run first, which I think is important. So him and Willie Taggart will kind of collaborate on how they're going to operate, what they want the backs to do. Now in his offense, there's a lot of motions. There's a lot of he's a guy that likes to use all the field. So he's a guy that's going to have, basically create space to create opportunities, which will ideally help Lamar Jackson. You got to think, Lamar Jackson, most of Lamar Jackson's offense was predicated being played in between the hashes. Right? They weren't on the numbers as much. Todd Monken's different. Todd Monken wants to use sideline to sideline, number to number, motions, misdirection. So they have the running backs to do that. J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards. So you may see J.K. Dobbins in motion and then Gus Edwards in the backfield. It's like, who do you get? So, and then you also have a threat of Lamar Jackson. So I do think that, creating space is going to be a big thing. I think that this may have been something that Lamar Jackson has seen and wanted to be a part of. Said, hey, look, this would be great. Also, no huddle. We didn't see much of no huddle from. I had to look the numbers up to see how much they ran no huddle, but no huddle. When you have a threat like Lamar Jackson who can create and improvise and make plays with his feet, make plays to throw the ball, having no huddle, getting them off balance, especially when you may have to have a spy, it'd be great, and you're not focused on certain things. So, sometimes they say going fast. They say, sometimes the no huddle really helps out. So I've seen I played in some no huddles, and I've seen some no huddles. I played in a no huddle where we would get to the line real quick. If we saw a look that we liked, we go with it. We try to get them all sides. Then if we didn't, we look back at the look at the coach, get the play, and then go from there. So, no huddle can definitely work depending on how they're running. I like running a no huddle and actually running the play. That's what I like, depending on the situation. So. He does put an emphasis on tight ends, and I do want to say that because when you look at Georgia, their leading pass catcher this year wasn't a receiver. It was a tight end, Brock Bowers. Lad McConkey had 762. Brock Bowers had 942. Number 3 running back, number 4 tight end, and number 5 receiver. So out of the top 5 pass catchers this year for Georgia, this past year for Georgia when they won a championship, they weren't receivers. Three out of 5 of them weren't receivers. The year before, same exact thing. A little bit more creative, right? Brock Bowers once again led, but you're seeing more of the receivers. Jermaine Burton, Lat McConkey, Donnie Mitchell, all three receivers who were 2, 3, 4 in passing. Um, Tight ends once again led in receptions. Pretty bad. They're a little bit more run heavy in 2021 with 545 attempts rushing the ball versus 407 passing. And Stetson Bennett's numbers were down. Of course, he split time, and the whole passing numbers were down for Georgia. But this last year, Stetson Bennett played phenomenal. He had 41 yards in the ground, averaging 9.1 per pop. We know that Georgia offense was top 5 in the country. You had the running game was amazing as well too. You had Kenny McIntosh, Dejon Edwards, and then the passing attack. Once again the tight end led in receptions and receiving yards, but the passing attack did get up. So I do expect Todd to incorporate some of the still use a high rate of tight ends, utilize them. They have some great tight ends on that squad, some solid tight ends on that squad who can make plays. So I think that we're going to see more of that. Now, once again, focus on the run game will be big, and then, of course, using Lamar Jackson as a threat as needed. Lamar Jackson should only run if he only needs to. He shouldn't run if he has to. Because he has to. He should only read if he only he should only run if he needs to. He shouldn't run as a weapon. Now, sometimes I get that, right? If you want to open some things up, you want to keep some of the guys honest, but that wear and tear is not what Lamar Jackson needs. I will say this too. I think that one of the reasons why Jalen Hurts was successful is because the head Brian Johnson, the head coach, our quarterback coach. He's able to resonate with Jalen Hurts, and when Brian Johnson played at Utah, when he was at Utah, he was phenomenal, right? But he wasn't doing as much through the ground. On the ground, he was doing it through the air. He wasn't a run-first quarterback. He was a pass-first quarterback. I think that's something that can play to the benefit of having a quarterback coach, a brother, coaching a brother who understands the dynamic. I do think that Todd Monkon will bring in a lot to help and really exploit and spread things out for Lamar instead of playing instead of playing within the hashes. We saw how successful he was at Louisville. That Louisville team was nothing, but when Lamar Jackson carried him to the top. So we'll just have to monitor and take a look to see what we're hearing from OTAs, what we're hearing from minicamps as far as utilizing Lamar Jackson. Now, free agency doesn't open until March 15th. Teams have two days before free agency opens to work a deal. I anticipate they tag them until they can work something out.